Keystone Library renovations by me, Charlie Nunn. Project description, for this project we had to renovate an old warehouse so that it could serve as a public library. We had to use the original structure to its fullest extent and add a partial second floor. The second floor also had to be able to open onto a required green roof for the first floor. The design also had to take into consideration parking, traffic flow, grading, stormwater management, and accessibility, and I'll touch on all of that a little bit in the presentation. So first, this is my floor plan. This is the first story, this is the second story. I'm not gonna explain it too much right now because I'm gonna walk through the entire floor plan throughout the presentation. And that's just a 3D view of it right there. So before I go into the actual library, I'm gonna talk about the site plan considerations. So first is the topography. You can't get into the library if your parking lot in the actual library is flooded. So first I messed with like stormwater control. So all the topography is sloped down to the retention pond right here, and this half of the parking lot is also sloped down to it. So whenever it rains, it all just flows off of the parking lot into the retention pond. If it hits this side of the roof, it also goes with the topography into the pond, but if it hits this side, then it rolls off the side and waters the green roof. So it kind of just helps out there. And the other thing is the parking lot spacing. I just fit all the requirements for that. So the actual aisle here is wide enough so that multiple cars can pass through. The island's the required size, and the parking spaces are big enough so that a car can fit in and doors can open with plenty of space. Next is just some accessibility stuff. Here's the handicapped parking spaces, and there are spaces in between them. Handicapped people can get out of their closed spaces. There's the accessible entryway with 6 and 7.5 inch, or 6 foot 7.5 inch entryways, so there's plenty of space for them to get through. And then there's a wide vestibule for them to maneuver around in. Same thing with all the bathrooms. There's around a 7 foot pivot space between the stalls and the nearest thing, which is the sink, so there's plenty of space for them there. And there's also at least one handicapped stall in each one. Between all the bookshelves, there's also there's just space between the tables and behind the cafe so that they can roll around. Alright, so now to the actual library. The first thing is entrance vestibule. So for all of my presentation, the renderings have a little dot on them, and the dot corresponds to something on the floor plan, and that's just where the picture is on the floor plan, so you can look at that and kind of just see where it is. But this is the first thing you see when you walk in. It's the vestibule. And you have nice benches and plants to sit around if you want to just wait for someone, and this just controls the climate of the whole building. And then you walk up to the circulation desk here, and librarians can use their computer terminals here to tell you where you get any book you want. Next, like on the left side of the library, there's the teen young adult section. This is like one of the most popular age groups that come into the library, so I put this section pretty close to the entrance. This is just where all the books for that age group go. And then next to it is the computer lab, because they all, like this age group focuses on going to the computer lab a lot when they go to the library. So I put those things close to each other so they all just kind of have that half of the library to go through. Next is the staff section behind the circulation desk, so it's close to the librarians. This right here is the librarian office. This is like a little drop-off box and a window in the actual wall so people can drop off books and drive through. They don't want to come into the library to drop stuff off, and they also just have desks to work at. And then this is the bathroom for staff and librarian. It's between the two things. Librarian's office is here. That's the staff workroom, and then there's the bathroom, so they have equal access to it. And this is the staff workroom. They can just get coffee and then make some food there. Last section on the bottom is the children's / popular section. This is the biggest section of books in the library, which is just like the actual popular books. So if people want to come in and get a pretty well-known book, then they can just get it. It's right there. And next to it is the children's section, which is the shorter stacks, so the children can reach it pretty easily. And they also have little tables here. And this is the cafe that I have. It's also the children's help desk. So if they have a question, they can just come over here and ask. And this is gonna be like the loudest part of the library. Like, just, because there are a bunch of kids there and everyone's ordering food and stuff. So that's why I put the adult section on the top floor. It's just quieter up here, away from the kids and the restaurant. And so this is more adult-based books, the second biggest book section in the library. And then this is where they can sit to read their books over on the side. And then the business section is just meeting rooms. They're right here, and there are two of them, but this wall right here is a partition, so it can fold back if someone's having a really big meeting, and the two meeting rooms can turn into one big meeting room. nice lighting, so it just looks like a really nice place to have a meeting with me. And lastly is the green roof. We're all required to have one, and it has a covering place where you can sit on the benches even if it's raining. And it's just a nice thing because it helps with the environment, helps control stormwater runoff, and it's just a nice thing to look at, nice attraction for the library. Thank you for listening.